Okay, getting things ready. Got several things going on today. Picked a bunch of peppers, got a bunch more jalapenos out of the garden, and pretty good batch of the red habaneros. And then these are the tomato mash that we made last time that's got through its big burst of fermentation. And if you look real close, the little top pieces are not getting enough pressure to actually get up to the top of the lid, which means, they've slowed down a lot. So I'm just going to put a burp lid on those so I can use those lids on the new fermentation. And I've done these habaneros by themselves. I've done them with peaches, and I've got about roughly 3 gallons of blended down habanero sauce already from this season, which will be a lot to use. So I'm going to modify the recipe a little bit. I'm going to split this batch in half. I'm going to make 2 half-gallon jar ferments with added apple and tomato as the remainder of the filler to help the ferment speed up and maybe change that profile. When I opened the jar of the ferment that was done with peaches, you can smell that peach. It's apparent. So we're going to try apple and see how that comes. I'll probably peel the apples first. I won't leave the rind on. And then the jalapenos, I'm going to do a Amish style pickle of them. So I'll put them in the jar, heated vinegar bath that'll go on them and then into the refrigerator. Haven't decided whether I'm going to leave them whole or cut them up. I'm not sure yet. Work it as I go along. But that's the process for today. I'm going to put you on high speed. And again, as I go through this, I'm going to be using my food processor. And I tend to put 1 tablespoon of salt per quart level of material that goes into the ferment. And that seems to be working pretty good. So, and that comes up to about 1 load of the food processor once it's done chopping is about a quart, sometimes a little more. But I'll put a tablespoon in when I'm blending that into the grind for that. And it seems like this pre-grind thing is working really well. Certainly uses less space in your fermentation process, so I like it. So, all right, here we go. Stay tuned. A lot of progress, but I've decided to close out the ferment on these tomatoes. I think their pH is way down, so fermented plenty. So I'm going to spice those up, and one of them I'm going to go ahead and spice up with peppers as well. So I have to figure out spatial allocation here, but this is what's left of the peach ferment with the red habaneros. So we got a little pressure building every now and then, but yeah, you can definitely smell that peach. Really good smell. So I'm hoping the apple stuff comes out with an interesting texture. I've got one fermented right now that has some sweet basil in it and a mix of peppers. It smells absolutely wonderful. But we're going to start this process with the tomato, getting the flavor profile of the tomato base correct, and then we'll add the heat to the level that we want. So it's a step-by-step taste and see. My biggest problem is fasting, so I'm going to be tasting this on an empty stomach, which will not be the wisest decision I've ever made in my life. We shall see. Alright, straight the way it was when we first started the video. as you can see that it likes to separate the fluid a little bit, so in order to keep it together, put a little bit of this in there. And that keeps it from separating when you bottle it. Now the secret spices here, some of this is my homegrown garden spices. I dry them, then I always like to crush them a little more before I put them in the blend. I need to grow some more of this. This year my herb garden got run over by the mint. Choked out everything else. Very disappointing. This is a little bit of a Mexican oregano. I don't really like the regular oregano for this. It's a little too overpowering. And then this is just an Italian seasoning mix. Sometimes if I've got the right spices in the kitchen, I'll just add some rosemary, thyme, and things of that nature to help that. This is a mix of that stuff. It was on sale, so save some money. Now, the one thing that you have trouble finding, you got to kind of make yourself, my good. Dried cilantro. This is something I dry myself. That should just about do it, other than one other. I lost my matrix. I don't like to add sugar because that will start to ferment back up. So I use a sugar substitute. This is monk fruit sugar, and it does just the trick to add just a touch of sweetness to the mix. Okay, so I'm going to blend that up before we add the hot stuff. We have to take some volume out just to have space. Right now, this. At this stage, this is something you can have anybody taste. People who don't like hot things don't taste it. But we've got to take a pause because this is why I kind of decided. These are the jalapeños, and this got a little pepper and apple on it. It won't hurt. The broth is ready. So this is a pickling broth, primarily white vinegar. And we're just going to cover them. It does have some seasonings in the broth. That will simply go in the refrigerator after it cools down. That on there in a minute. Get some more broth in there. Air bubbles. Right at the top there. Sometimes when I'm, and I do have some jars of it, when I'm doing pickles during the season with cucumbers that we grow, I will go ahead and take any extra pickling juice and just can it by itself, and it can be used for this type of thing. Just reheat it on it, and there you go. So that literally 24 hours, good in the refrigerator. I'd say up to 6 months, and now they do start to soften as they age. They'll probably stay crisp for 2 to 3 months, but it makes it pretty tasty. So now we've got to make a decision on how much heat. That should be plenty. All right, so let's see. We've got just under, that looks about 45 fluid ounces. So we're going to do this by the tablespoon. And maybe, actually, we're doing so much. This is a quarter cup. We're going to try that. May get myself in trouble and get too much in there. We shall see. Two. Tempted to put 3. I'm going to, you know what? Get ahead of myself, make it too hot. Let's see how that comes up. Got to blend some of the seeds and chunky stuff down a little more. I could definitely have more heat. Okay. So. Some of my other flavor testers here. Everybody's off at college. Can you believe that? Kids going to school. We thought they'd give up tasting hot sauce to go to college. See, I'm just terrible. I think it needs more heat. That makes 1 cup. There's a cup and a quarter. I take such precaution like that because last year I was using Scorpions and Carolina Reapers. They're a little more dangerous than the Habanero. Nice thing is, I've got a little sauce left over. You can always mellow it out and touch it if it's too hot. All right. I think that's about right. Okay, so now the next step will be put some of this stuff up here. I'll have to blend down this stuff too, but I'll take it into a smaller blender, kind of emulsify it a little more, then I'll pour it back in the jug to go in the refrigerator, and then at a later point in time, I'll put it in smaller containers for distribution. Let's see how much of this I can get back in here. I think I'll just do that. That's fine. I'll blend that down. But that makes a pretty good sauce. I call it the Flaming Tomato or Flamato with the Habanero version. With the Reaper version, it's a little bit hotter. I do have a second jug of tomatoes that I'm going to do. Same process. I may make that softer for heat. Since this one I added quite a bit, I may not add as much in the next one. We'll see. It's always possible to do, for people who like it really hot, I do like a 50-50 blend. And that's plenty hot enough. I mean, you can definitely make it hotter. I mean, for crying out loud, they can go straight from this, which is, I don't know, 300,000 Scoville, so the pepper. Now the blend, when you get it down into there, it's more concentrated, so you get pretty hot sauce. So that one, it is tasty, but believe me, if you're not tolerant of heat, you don't want to go straight. You want to blend it down, make a mix. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, send me a comment. All right, this is where we ended up. Half gallon of refrigerator pickled jalapenos. They'll go in the refrigerator once they're cool. A little bit of extra sauce that we can eat now. 2 half gallons of Flamato. 1 normal to hot maybe, and 1 mild. And then 2 new ferments of red habaneros, apples, and tomatoes. So we'll see how that turns out. That's a new ferment for me. Hope it tastes good. Thanks for being here.